Hello again, I'm Bill Perkins, and this is my discussion video for Professional Communication 320, Module 6. The first question I'll answer is from Chapter 6. Number 1, define the term semantic information distance. Discuss an instance in your professional life where you've seen how it can impact people in different positions, and use the text to explain it. So if we look at page 127 under the communicating information, the book states that semantic information distance is a term that defines how employees and supervisors do not always share the same view of some fundamental areas, such as organizational issues or job duties. And I ran into this big time. I was hired to run a group home by a company that had just failed a state audit and had to fire all of the management in that area. I was hired to fix problems as the new administrative supervisor of one group home. The direct care staff were the same people that had been working there before, because of course you needed people to take care of the clients. I began to require that the staff follow the policies and procedures that were already listed in the company handbook. I made them follow work schedules and procedures for asking for time off rather than just swapping shifts and making changes as they wanted. I said no to friends and family coming to visit for hours at a time. They could drop off stuff and leave. They didn't need to be there. This was somebody's home. I required receipts for all the purchases. I insisted that they count the medications, and I told them they had to start calling the clients by their names and not by nicknames like Honey or Sweetie. In other words, I required accountability in their professional attitude and performance. I also developed a lot of programs individualized to each client that required more work from the staff in order to get it accomplished. This created a huge gulf between myself and some members of staff, not all of them, but a few, who felt like things should go back to the way they always were, and who was I, the new guy, to come in and tell them how to do stuff. They were used to a much more relaxed environment where there were no real expectations or goals. And they did everything they could to get rid of me. I dealt with upward distortion where messages from one shift to the next and then to me were distorted and changed by staff. Gatekeeping, where the staff would make decisions not to share information with me about stuff that had occurred. Summarization, where they just kind of skimmed over anything they really didn't want to have to tell me about. Withholding, where they just flat didn't tell me about stuff I needed to know. And general distortion, where I was completely lied to on more than one occasion. It took me 6 months, but I managed to get those staff who were, in my opinion, lazy troublemakers either fired with lots of documentation to prove they needed to be fired, or moved to other group homes. I put together a team that was professional and dedicated to really improving the lives of the clients. Medications and money stopped disappearing, and I was able to save money out of the budget to send all of the clients and some staff on vacation for a week up into the mountains. It ended in a bizarre situation with the union getting involved and me being fired after 9 months, caused by one of the original disgruntled employees who was at that point working in a different group home for the company. 3 months later, after I was gone, the state of Oregon came back through for their in-depth, heavy-duty yearly audit because of the problems that had occurred before, and they went through everything. My group home passed with flying colors, and the staff were recognized by the state for running one of the best group homes they had ever seen. Every other group home, the main office, supervisors, my boss, people working in the houses, taking care of the clients in the other group homes, were all fired because they had failed to make changes that were needed to protect the clients, and they failed to change the behavior and the group culture that had taken over that company. Next, I'm going to talk about question number 4 from Chapter 6, where the authors discuss the line between personal and professional relationships, and while they address some important topics, there are several areas that they don't. So what areas do I think they should have talked about? Well, they talk about this in Chapter 6, pages 133 through 139. So what exactly is the line between a professional and a personal relationship? The book never comes right down and draws a line in the sand. Professional relationships are ones we develop in pursuit of our professional goals. Personal relationships come from our need for love, connection, and belonging. However, instead of looking at a professional relationship as either cold or distant, it's closer to the truth to say that maintaining a professional relationship protects not just the company, but you as well. Now, the book focuses mostly on issues of sex and sexuality, which I understand due to the fact that romantic affairs, allegations of sexual harassment, and issues surrounding gender and sexuality can all have huge legal and financial consequences for a company. With that said, I think you will agree that by maintaining a professional relationship, you are limiting the possibility of being involved in any of those situations. And you're also protecting yourself from losing your job, facing legal issues, financial losses, social repercussions, and at the minimum, you're protecting yourself from creating a terrible place to work. There are a few relationships the book did not talk about. One is the office spouse, the person you spend most of your time with at work, the person you tend to vent to and ask for advice, your workplace bestie, the person that keeps you sane. Now, this type of relationship causes gossip about the very nature of the relationship in the office, in the workplace. And it can create adversarial feelings if others feel that the two of you are more interested in protecting each other's interests than in working as a team member. It creates an us versus them feeling. It can also interfere with promotions if superiors feel that they can't really trust that if they put you in charge, you could actually supervise your bestie. Another relationship at work is work friends. The people you hang out with work specifically, the ones you sit beside during the meetings, the ones you kind of gossip with, the ones you go to lunch with, you hang at company events, and sometimes you even may go out socially. Once again, you're separating yourself from the team. And this is an opportunity you should be networking, taking the time to meet everybody in the department, learning how the whole company functions. Take the time to meet other supervisors in other departments. Get to know the boss. This can also affect your ability to get a promotion, as it causes a feeling that you're self-isolating and not a good communicator with groups or new people. And the last relationship that the book didn't cover that I'm going to is working with family members at the same place. Man, can I just say, avoid it, don't do it. It creates every kind of problem you can imagine. It causes all kinds of gossip to occur. Your family life will spill out into your work life because you've got your bestie, she's got her bestie, everybody's talking to everybody else. It just creates huge problems. And if your relationship goes sour, that just creates even more problems at work. Maybe you can work in different departments in different buildings, but no closer. And a lot of companies have specific policies against people who are related working together. The last thought on this subject is to remember that work-professional relationships are about us getting our needs met at work. They serve to help us accomplish goals that are related to our job and our profession. That's why so many work friendships do not survive when you no longer work at the same place, because they belong in that context and not outside of it. Next, for Chapter 7, I chose question number 1. Share a time when you worked on an unsuccessful group project. How would the information from this chapter have helped you be successful? Okay, after reading the chapter, I came to one conclusion. I never have attended a well-run meeting, and that includes the ones I ran. And I know that that's partly because I didn't have the education or the experience to know what was a good team meeting. I honestly think I was successful in getting group projects finished and that the final product served its purpose, but that was mostly due to my own stubbornness and refusal to fail. But was it the best final product? I kind of question that. Part of my job in running group homes was to develop plans to help them become independent as possible, identify goals that they might be interested in, creating programs to assist them in achieving their goals, as well as creating programs to meet state expectations. I honestly believe that if I had implemented the ideas in this chapter and built more of a team between the staff, family, state agencies, and clients, I could have accomplished more. I failed in that respect because I'd been trained to be a leader and not a team builder. I knew enough to make sure that, the environment was conducive to a good meeting, for teams to come together. But I found the section on how to coach a meeting and team roles to be a real eye-opener. I never thought about presenting an agenda beforehand and letting the team debate their own ideas about the problem or how to solve it. Like all bad leaders, I had the solution in my head and I was just looking for consent or advice on how to accomplish that solution. I should have been using the team and their individual expertise to find multiple solutions. I should have been a coach and helped keep the ball rolling and on track and keeping everybody working together to problem solve. But it's not even about the solution. It's also about figuring out what is the problem. Letting the team debate and evaluate what is actually causing that problem. How many problems could I have solved with just one meeting instead of multiple meetings if I had created a team effort? Past experiences taught me I'm not always right in deciding what the cause of a problem is, let alone the solution. It would have been better to use a team process to look for that. The tools for innovation and evaluation on pages 161 and 162 respectively are really interesting. I like the idea about writing technique for brainstorming, where you start with a blank page and one person writes an idea at the top and the next person writes an idea and the next person all the way down until the page is full. That gives everybody a chance to bounce off the ideas that have already been put down before them and not to repeat ideas. I also liked using the value rating as a way of evaluating possible solutions. I think that's a great idea. I think it would help to build consensus in a team for an idea that everyone can support. I honestly think that so far just the ideas presented in this chapter are the ones that have given me the most to think about and a better understanding of how to build a team and how to use the resources and abilities of the members of that team to bring about innovative solutions. For the next question, I chose number 2. What role are you most likely to assume in a professional work group? What about in school, class group? What kind of group roles do you struggle with? Okay, the book defines the roles on pages 166 through 169. It breaks them down into explorer, artist, judge, and warrior. In a professional work group, I am most often the warrior. I am the person who goes out and gets things done and implements the plan. I'm very organized. I can handle overseeing different parts of a plan at the same time. I'm also good at being a champion for ideas that I believe will work. I don't mind debating the merits of something, and I'm willing to listen to other people's ideas. However, it's very hard to bully me, and you're not going to get me to do something or change how I'm going to do something if I don't agree with you. I'm also very good at recognizing problems and issues before they can become an interference. In school, I'm more of the explorer type. I enjoy learning about new things. I like exploring new ways of thinking about problems and ideas. I like discussions and debate and sharing thoughts from different people or groups. I get excited when someone can make me think about something in a new way or see a problem from a different angle. The one role I struggle with the most is the role of artist. This is the one person who puts ideas together in new ways. They look at problems and ideas and ask, what if? While this may lead to ideas that are most innovative and the most original, they are also tend to be the most annoying type of a role in a team, in my opinion, because I like ideas and thoughts that have been tried out and have worked in the past. Artists usually need a lot of supervision because they get stuck on an idea or a path that goes nowhere and they can't seem to get off it. And frequently they focus too much on form and not enough on function. I want to figure out the problem, what's causing it, how did it happen, who is it affecting, find a solution to the problem that we know will work, evaluate, pick one, and then get it done and over. So that wraps up my discussion of topics from chapter 6 and 7. Have a great day. Bye for now.